Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kids, and today I'm going to be reflecting on the 2021-2022 school year. This video is part of an open collaboration with Jessica from the Waldock Way and Abby from Rooted in Rest, and a bunch of other homeschool moms that are going to be sharing their reflections on their years this past year. So first and foremost, reflecting on this past school year, I would say, to sum it all up, it was a year of learning on my part. It was definitely a year of aha moments and kind of a year of discovering, the way things work best in our homeschool. It was a year of me pausing and kind of observing my children and the way things work for them. It was a year of change. We switched curriculums a lot this year, I feel like. And while in the moment, a lot of the time that felt very chaotic to me, I am eclectic. I like to switch things up. However, the more I go along this journey, the more I value that consistency of using something consistent and the growth that happens with that consistency. And so this year, I feel like it was really hard for us to get into that consistent motion. It was a year of trial and error with a lot of things. This year, I think, reflecting back, just kind of trying to figure out what brings joy to our homeschool. Because above all else, I want this experience to be a pleasant one. I know that my kids are not going to always be so excited to do school and always like everything that we do or learn, but I want there to be an underlying joy that's kind of steadfast. Some of the things that we've realized this school year that do bring us joy are literature-based learning, we love that, and unit study learning. Literature-based curriculum and unit studies are just things that my kids light up for. They love it, and I love it too. We just flow so good when we're doing those things. I've realized that trying to make everything in our homeschool something that they like doing is kind of a task that's impossible, because there are things that they have to learn to be successful, and they're not always the fun things. One of my children really dislikes math. And while we had a lot of trial and error with her math curriculum this year to try to find the best fits, I think we have discovered kind of the best fit for her, but it's still not her favorite subject ever. And there are still days that she doesn't want to do it and we struggle through it, but it is necessary for her. I think that has been something that I may have overcompensated a little bit on this homeschool journey, is trying to make homeschool her preference, if that makes sense. And thinking about it now, it's kind of pulling her out of the school system. I really wanted this to work and I wanted her to love it. And I wanted her to love everything about homeschooling, and that's just not been the case. While she does prefer homeschooling, she doesn't love everything. And I've just kind of come to accept that. It's going to be part of life. You're not always going to love everything you do. I have also realized that attitudes are a big part of how our homeschool days go. If I have a bad attitude or my child has a bad attitude, our days are almost always derailed in some way. I think that is something that we have all had to work on this year. I've kind of come to learn that my daughter likes a slow start to her morning. She doesn't like to be bombarded with, it's time for school right now, right when she gets up. She needs a slow start to the morning. She loves having a cup of tea. That puts her in an awesome mood. So I have used that a lot this year. Do you want to have some tea? And then she's automatically happy, motivated, and ready to do school. A cup of tea. Who would have thought that would be the secret? But for her, that gives her energy and motivation and just makes her in a good mood. And so trying to find those cues and pick up on them has been an important lesson that I've learned this homeschool year. I also have to keep my attitude in check as well, and that has been testing on my patience. I think just you know, just trying to have patience and not get overly frustrated because she's frustrated. It's like a craft that you have to work at. In my homeschool goals video for this year, one of the things that I wanted to focus on was more read alouds. And I'm happy to report that I feel like we did a really good job on read alouds this year. We have read a ton of books. I just did a video on some of our read alouds that we've read this year a few weeks ago. And we've read more since then. We really have valued that time. My kids love being read to, and I'm noticing even my son, who is super busy, he's 5 years old, he has in the past had a harder time sitting still and listening to a book, especially like a read aloud where it's like a chapter book. It's not like a start to finish story. He's had a challenge with that because of his age and just being busy, but he is kind of coming into that and requesting our read aloud. There's fewer interruptions when he's listening to me read, and he's just made a lot of growth in that department, and I love that. In my goals video, I also said that I wanted to focus on writing with my daughter, and we really didn't do that this year. I actually have a video, it was like a reluctant writer update or something from a few months ago, where I kind of had this aha moment and this realization that I needed to kind of step back and kind of inspire her creativity with writing and step back from like the structured writing. And so that's kind of what we've been doing mostly this year. I haven't made her do a lot of writing projects. We've just kind of done some free writing. So she's writing a Minecraft book. She writes songs sometimes. Sometimes she makes like little short story books and with illustrations, just like all on her own. And that I'm seeing grow more and more as we move through. And I'm liking that. Like, I want her to be inspired, and then I feel like structure will come a little bit later for her. All of my children have so much growth this year, and it's not always like these big monumental growths. It might be a personality growth. You know, my daughter has struggled with perfectionism and like growth mindset. When something gets hard, she a lot of times has a tendency to just shut down and just stop trying. And so I've seen a lot of growth in that with her this year, in her just kind of trying her best to stick with it. Not that we don't have struggles still, because we do have a lot of struggles in that department, but she is growing. My son, he is just like a sponge right now. He's just eating everything up. He's so motivated to learn. He just wants to, like, he'll school all day if I let him. Like, he just wants to do school all day long. I love that he's so eager to learn, and I'm able to like give him more and more and more to kind of satisfy that learning. He has taken such big interest in math and also writing all of a sudden. Like, he wants to like do handwriting in his free time, and I love that he's growing in that. And we're just, you know, trucking along, working through those letter sounds and writing his numbers and letters, and he's really enjoying school in general. My littlest one just turned 3 in April, and she already is asking to do school. So I have been having to like pull out little like worksheets for her to just scribble on, or like she'll do one of those handwriting books. She's got incredible pencil control already. I never taught her how to hold a pencil, but she like holds it perfectly. She's also, I think, left-handed because she's always using her left hand when she writes. But she like has been doing tracing of letters, of, you know, the little tracing exercises, and just loving it. So overall, we've had a really great year. You know, it's been a year, like I said, that was a little chaotic with all the changes. Like, I felt like I couldn't get my footing a little bit in some points, but I think that that is an important part of this journey, is just trying to figure out what makes your homeschool work. And I think we're on the right track with that, and I love how much I've realized about that this year. I think that's been the most important takeaway from this year. So hope you guys enjoyed learning about my reflections from this past homeschool year. Be sure to check the description box for Abby and Jessica's channel, as well as a playlist with all of the other homeschool moms that will be contributing to this collaboration. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.